the best of, I think this is a series now. This is Mazzy. I'm with Vinyl Richie. Hey, Vinyl Richie, how you doing, Richie?
I'm good.
Good. Okay. We did the best psychedelic album of all time, and we actually, coincidentally or independently, chose the same one last time. So we're going in a different genre, and we might do a series because this is now two or more, or usually it's three or more ends up being a series. So we don't know yet. It's kind of like serial killers. I mean, do you have to, is it two or three that you become a serial killer? Not that I want to promote that, but
I don't even want to know the answer
you
to
don't even
that.
want, okay. Well, okay. Well,
But
let's
yeah,
see.
I think three, you're definitely a serial
Well, if
killer.
we stop at three, it's a trilogy. So we'll
Yeah.
see how
Well,
this goes.
well, we won't stop at three.
Well, you never know.
I mean, there's an endless possible. Yeah,
The
we never know.
viewers may stop us.
Who?
The viewers, the people that
No,
are.
the only thing that's gonna stop this is you. You'll get bored with making videos with me.
I've
But
been making videos with you for a number of years now. That we've been
yeah,
doing. We don't do it all the time, but that's what's nice about it. It's kind of
yeah.
like, we jam but we just made one. So this is the best country record of all time. Now we don't know what each other chose, and it's the best. This is a fact. This is no, if you can put your opinions and whatever you want in the comments, but these are factual things. The best country record, I guess records, unless we coincidentally pick the same one again, of all
It's
time.
possible.
It's possible. And we decided, I think we're doing a couple of honorable mentions or warm-ups to it. They're not necessarily second and third, but we decided just to kind of get the conversation warming up a little bit.
Yeah, I actually went through a process and I had one picked. And then last weekend, I listened to a heck of a lot of country records, and I changed my pick, and I ended up even with a top five. But I might make it do a video on my own, the
You,
top 10
you
country
mean
albums.
you mean you're going to do solo projects instead of
I don't
okay,
know.
that's fine. Now, the thing about what's one pissed me off one time? I heard an interview once with David Bowie. Okay, probably in the 90s, maybe 80s. Someone's going to find that interview. And he's talking about, David Bowie was open to a lot of music and open to genres and soul and R&B and experimental. And in one interview, he said the only thing he doesn't like is country music. And I just
Yeah.
thought, fuck you, David Bowie. Country
Um,
music, like look at Buddy Holly. I mean, look at all these people that, came, well, rock and rollers, a lot of rock and Billy obviously came from merged crossover with country, right?
well, rock and roll is actually a merging of blues, rhythm and blues, and country. I
Exactly.
know a lot of people tend to forget the country part, but that beat comes from the country.
And we know there's a lot of, like any genre, there's a lot of bad country. There's a lot of that slick country pop that came out in the 90s and, beyond and to this day. And now there's all these subgenres with Americana, which is kind of like indie country. Yeah, exactly. There's, I mean, one thing about it is, half the country artists spent time in prison. So that's kind of like, that's punk in a way, you know?
You know, as far as 90s country, I don't really like that polished stuff except for Shauna Twain. I don't know when
Shania,
her
Shania. You can't
Shania
even say
Twain.
her name
Yeah, I
right.
don't even know her name. She had some really good hooks on her songs, and I actually like her. She's not my number one. In fact, I don't have any of her on vinyl. But the one Slick album that I do really like a lot was the Charlie Rich album, the one that had the Behind Closed Doors.
I have that record. That is an
Yeah,
excellent record. 1970, mid
yeah,
70s or something.
yeah.
Now let me ask you, what are the early country albums that you got into and how did you get into country? Now you're in Bakersfield now and you grew up in Bakersfield, so obviously the Bakersfield the sound with Buck Owens and Merle Haggard, but what's your entry?
Um, the first professional band that I ever saw perform live was Buck Owens. He used to do free concerts at Hart Park, and I remember seeing him as a probably fifth grader, maybe a sixth grader. I saw him again. I remember seeing him a few times at Hart Park. So that was my first time ever seeing a band, a professional. I mean, it was free, so it wasn't a paid concert. But the first uh, person I remember was also Buck Owens, and my mom and dad, they had like a comp of different artists, and the Buck Owens song kind of stood out to me. And this was before the Beatles played Ed Sullivan, and so I it would have to be Buck Owens. But as I got older, like junior high and high school, I was not a country fan. In fact, there was a clash between long hairs, or what
Oh
people would call
yeah.
hippies, and the rednecks, and it was real. And I was definitely on the side of the hippies, and I didn't like country music until that Outlaws came out with Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, Tom Paul Glacier, and I think Jesse Coulter.
Yeah, it's a great record.
Yeah, and then that kind of got me. And then the single "Lukenbach, Texas" by Waylon Jennings.
Merle Jennings.
That song, I go, man, this is, I'm gonna have to start exploring some country,
And
man.
where
Because
Willie comes in at the end of that song, his voice.
yeah, yeah,
They were a nice combination because Waylon Jennings has that kind of gruffer voice, and Willie's kind of a prettier voice, sort of, especially
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's similar to me, but not really. But Buck Owens is the center of me, but it's because of the Beatles because they did, Act Naturally. Ringo sang it. I didn't know country. I didn't know it was called country. I didn't know who Buck Owens was. And then when you think about it, they did I don't want to spoil the party. That's a country song.
yeah.
Obviously, Ringo was into it. His solo album, second solo album, Buku's the Blues. But for me in the 70s, there was a venue. A lot of the country artists didn't play in the city because their audience came like from the valley and would come up with the peninsula, and they would play the Circle Star Theater in Redwood City, which is a circle on the round, because it was in the suburbs, but it was a cool place. And I saw Merle Haggard there, saw Willie Nelson there. I saw a lot of these country artists, and you'd go to those shows and you get all those literally people in the mid 70s dressed up like Porter Wagner jackets, almost semi-nudie suits, if you know what the nudie suit is. And it was really cool stuff. So I love that music. I just like the root stuff. So why don't you start showing a record, some of your alternates, not the best one yet. The best country record of all time will be coming soon. That's like the teaser.
Okay. Let me show the one that this was actually the one that I was gonna pick is the best country record, and it kind of surprised me, but it's fucking great, and it's the Knitters.
You're
Poor little creature in the road. This is actually,
that's an out of the
members.
box choice.
It's and I was surprised. I go, but it kind of blew away the other ones I was listening to, and it's a punk rockers doing country, so that's definitely outlaw.
It's X with Dave Alvin.
Yeah, basically, yes, it is. Three members of X. Well, I think there's another guy
Yeah.
too.
Dave Alvin from the Blasters.
Yeah,
Wow, I
yeah,
didn't see that coming.
yeah. This was gonna be my pick,
It's kind
but
of country folk. It's a lot of folk roots too.
yeah, it's really good, man.
It is good.
It's there's one song that's kind of the vocals are not quite there, but overall, I highly recommend that.
That's on
Now,
Slash, right? Slash Warner Brothers, I think.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now, this past weekend, though, I listened to a heck of a lot of country records, and the one I chose, it stood out to me. But some of the others that I think were really good was this Buck Owens. I've got a tiger by the
That
tail.
was a hit. That was a big hit.
That was a big hit. In fact, Buck Owens had more hits than any other country artist in the '60s. I think he had 21 number one hits.
He was one of the biggest, I think, next only to maybe Sinatra, Nat Cole, big on Capitol Records.
Yeah, and the Beatles.
Well, that was, yeah, yeah.
Another big one is
Yeah.
Phases and Stages by Willie Nelson. This he had like a trilogy of what was it? Shotgun Willie, this one, and then the Red-Headed Stranger.
And that's his last one for RCA. Then he went to Columbia,
Yeah, and that's
Redheaded Stranger. Yeah. Oh, so
and
you're gonna just show them all now? Okay,
no, I'm going to show one more,
that's
and
okay.
this is Dwight Yoakam,
Huh.
Buenas noches from a lonely room. This is fantastic.
See, now I want to run downstairs and grab one more.
No, no, let's make this natural, man. We don't
No,
want
I have
people to.
natural, but I only have two warm-ups. Well, I have a
It's
well,
fine.
okay. This isn't the best, but this is a fucking great record. And this is Johnny Cash, I Walk the Line. Of course, this is the one with the song I Walk the Line and the original version of Folsom Prison Blues. Now, you know, you can't deny how great Folsom Prison Blues, the live album, the prison album, and San Quentin too. But this is it. The kind of, the rockabilly. He was one of the Million Dollar Quartet with
Yeah,
Elvis,
he
Carl
was. Yes.
Perkins, and I mean, this Big Rivers on here. Bad News. This is a great record. What year did this come out? This must be like, I don't even know what year this came out.
Early 60s, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
62
61,
or
62.
1, yeah.
Co-produced by Don Law and Frank Jones. Don Law, one of the great sort of country producers of the day. This is just because some people like to see, this is a two-eye mono. I'm just showing you that. But this is a great record. Even the audiophile labels put out a version of this record because it's really a well-recorded record. It's a great record.
Yeah.
So, but it's the music, right? I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. It's just
Johnny Cash is definitely one of the greats, man.
I only saw him once, but it was late, but it was just before I think just before he got signed
For
to
that Deaf American.
Deaf America Rivers
Yeah.
comeback, but he played the Fillmore in San Francisco with June and the his trio, whatever. And it was one of only two shows I ever saw at the Fillmore where they had chairs, sit down chairs, they fold
That's funny.
because I think because the audience would come country, they're not standing up in a club. But
Yeah.
it was great to see Johnny Cash at the Fillmore Auditorium. That would have been in the 90s at some point. Now this one I just showed on another video. Yeah, I think, and I don't care what anyone says. If you listen to this, listen to the country music, listen to the backup
Is
up.
it the Go-Go's?
No, the
Oh.
backup singers sound like the Jordanaires who backed Elvis, and that's Kinky Friedman as Texas Jew Boys sold America. Kinky Friedman, of course, he equal opportunity offender. You'd appreciate this. Like he opens up with, "We reserve the right to refuse service to you." So he goes from a redneck, like a Randy Newman will go from a redneck point of view. Get your biscuits in the oven and your buns in the bed. Women's liberation is going to your head, that song. High on Jesus. The Battle of Charles Whitman, that's the guy that shot those people from the Texas Tower in Austin way back. The Top 10 Commandments and Ride 'em Jew Boy about the Holocaust. But it's the music is great country. This is debut on Vanguard Records, and then he went to ABC. He ran
When
for
what
Texas.
year is this record? I've never seen that.
Oh, this is 1973.
Okay.
This is his,
You know why I said the Go-Go's? Turn the cover around. That part down there with the blue, that show just a little bit of that showed when you were messing around. It's kind of like the U of the first Go-Go's record.
yeah. I mean, what I saw him. I already told this story on my
I don't
movie.
even think I know that guy.
Well, okay. You would like this record, actually, this one. He died about, what, a year and a half ago or so, and they just released an album that I love. That was produced by Dave Mansfield who played with Dylan and T-Bone Burnett and the Alpha Band. Really good record, a country record. But he has a wry sense of humor. For about 20 years, he wrote a bunch of mystery novels that were big. He ran for governor. He got 12% of the vote in Texas for governor. Um, but he's got this great sense of humor. But I don't know. I just love this stuff. It's Norman Blake is on here, John Hartford, Buddy Spitzer. So you got David Briggs. You got a lot of these great Nashville and country players on here. In fact, Tom Paul Glazer's on here, Billy Swan. I mean, you got a who's who of 70s country producers. And, remember Billy Swan that he had that hit? Not If I Can Help It. What's that song he had? It was
In the
great.
70s, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
great. He had one major hit that crossed over on the pop
yeah.
charts. Um, the first Texas Jewish country music star, Kinky Friedman.
That's
And
a pretty funny photo in the back.
Isn't that great? I mean, this is
Yeah.
his records are great.
Let,
One of
let
the
me put it closer to the camera. Okay, I know. I do know who that is. I've seen videos of that guy.
okay, one of the songs on a second album that was kind of got some controversial play was "They Ain't Making Jews Like Jesus Anymore."
That's funny.
Great song. And they had a song called "Something's Wrong with the Beaver," basically about Leave It to Beaver, Ward,
Yeah.
Ward, we've let this guy down or whatever it is, I forgot.
You're being hard
Jesus,
on the beat. You're being
high
hard
on
on the
Jesus.
beaver.
I think the last line to "High on Jesus," um, they buried him in the ground, and oh Lord, you can't keep a good man down. So
Yeah. You're being hard on the beaver.
yes,
That
exactly.
was that was the line.
And I'm going to my best one next. So you need to, what, do you have more to show before you go to your best?
Well, I wasn't, but I'm going to show this one. This was a big hit for Buck Owens in the 70s. In the By 1970, 71, his career, he wasn't getting the number ones like he was.
Keep
But
going.
this one, Tall Dark Stranger, this was a big smash hit. And this even crossed over into the pop charts. And I remember this being played on the AM rock station, Tall Dark Stranger. And the reason I pulled this out is because the Jordanaires are on this, and it gives this record it's kind of weird sounding compared to his other records. And that cover, man, it's really dark. I don't know who the photographer is. Mazzy probably knows, but I don't
Yeah.
think this is the greatest photography in the world.
I think
But
they wanted backlit on like a shadow on purpose, I guess. See, Tall
yeah,
Dark
yeah,
Stranger, again, that's the
yeah.
concept.
I get it, but
It probably says on the back who the photographer is. So
yeah, but I don't read that shit.
you
But
don't
the
read.
reason I showed this is the Jordanaires are on this, and it gives it a very different sound than his other any of his other
The
albums.
Jordanaires also, I think they do stuff with Ricky Nelson, Rick Nelson. I love Rick Nelson.
Probably.
You and I are both Rick Nelson fans, right?
Yeah, he's okay. My brother had the Garden Party record.
No, but the early shit, I mean,
This rock stuff.
with James Burton. Well,
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's like rockabilly, country rock, ballads, beautiful, like Elvis, but
yeah.
I liked him better than Elvis. I hate to say that, but
I
okay.
actually think his voice, Elvis's voice, is a little much sometimes for me. His
When he
early,
started
not his
getting
early
in.
stuff, but his later stuff, I don't know. It just bro.
Okay, I'm showing one more before my best of. That's why I ran down and grabbed it because
All right.
only because I thought of this record as one of my best, but it didn't quite make it. But it's Merle Haggard, The Stranger's Lonesome Fugitive.
Now see, I had a hanking that was gonna be your pick.
I love this record. I love you know, he got a little schmaltzy in the mid 70s, but in the late 60s, early 70s, stuff was great. I
It
mean,
was great, dude.
obviously, even, Okie from a Stogie, which was kind of everyone thought it was so serious. That wasn't anything great. But the song I'm Lonesome, which he didn't write, but I'm a Lonesome Fugitive, one of the greatest lines in country music, I think. Um, I'd like to settle down, but they won't let me. I'm on the run. The highway is my home. And
Yeah.
then he says, um, God, what's the line? Basically, he says, my mama used to pray my crops would fail. Like, come
Yeah.
on, your own mom? Um, I just love that song. But this is a great song, Skid Row, Life in Prison. He was in prison. He saw Johnny Cash while he was in prison. He saw him perform.
Yeah.
He also on Capitol Records. Another artist that I think is great that doesn't seem to get a lot of love, but his records are so good are Porter Wagner records, and they're kind of weird covers. Like he's always the town drunk, and there's a song, "The Cold Heart Facts of Life," where the storyline. This is one of the greatest storylines of a country song. This guy has been on a business trip and he's driving home, right? And he decides to, pull into a liquor store to grab a nice bottle because he hasn't seen his wife in a while, right? So he's in line to check out. and the guy in front of him says, "I'll have a bottle of your whatever it is. I'm going to see this woman. Her husband's out of town." And so he goes ahead and he gets in his car, he pays, goes up, and he's behind this car and follows. And all of a sudden, the car in front of him with the guy pulls into his driveway. And so basically kills them both. Um, and the cover is basically him in the doorway with these two couples sitting there like they're busted. They got busted. That his wife is being screwed by this guy who bought the bottle in front of him. It's a great song. The Cold Heart, Hard Facts of Life by Porter Wagner. Check it out. It's great. In fact, there's a great CD comp. I don't think it's on vinyl. It's called The Rubber Room. And there's a song called The Rubber Room. It's all these weird, twisted, it's almost like punk lyrics, all his songs. I think it's only that would be a great record store day or a great comp to put on vinyl. The Rubber Room, Porter Wagner, you heard it here, go buy it. But otherwise, this. Okay.
Yeah, Merle Haggard had a string of great albums.
Yeah.
I like the one Mama Tried.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the Bonnie and Clyde record. That song is so good, man. That he sang about I guess he released it after the movie.
And then,
You know,
Earl Scruggs, Flatt and Scruggs did the instrumental one, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you heard the Merle Haggard Bonnie and Clyde song?
I must have. I can't.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I have a few comps maybe on CD. I have a big CD box set of Merle Haggard, so it's probably on that.
Yeah, it would be.
So are you ready for your
Yeah,
inaugural?
whenever. You want
Okay,
me to go first or you?
you go first.
Okay.
Okay, according to Richie, this is the best country record ever
Well,
made.
I I did all the math, and it's not according to Richie. It definitely is the best country record. There's no doubt about it. And it's Waylon Jennings, Honky Tonk Heroes. Came out in 73, I believe. Now he was having issues with RCA Records, the same as Willie Nelson. He didn't like I guess Chet Atkins. I guess I don't know if he ran RC
He
Country
was
or
like
what.
A&R. He was a big shot at RCA.
He was really strict, and they were getting tired of it. And about this time, he fired his manager and he hired this New York lawyer. And they were talking, and he told him, you know what? If you want to grow your hair out, grow a beard, do what you want to do. And that's what he did. And this is the second album that he recorded with his band, his road band called the Wailers. Not Bob Marley and the Wailers. It was Waylon Jennings and the Wailers. And I guess the album that came out right before this, something like Ornery and Mean or something like that, they played on. But on this one, he had a lot more control. I guess he renegotiated his contract and he was able to get a lot more control, but he didn't have total control. This, if you see this right here, it says includes We Had It All. And this song was included from the insistence of RCA and Chet Atkins, because all these songs were written by Billy Joe. They were either written or co-written by Billy Joe Shaver, who was an unknown country artist, unknown writer, and RCA was not. They weren't very happy with the idea of having an album of totally unknown, so they kind of forced that one song on them, and it's the last song on side two, and it's kind of different than all the others, but it does fit in. But yeah, this is a fantastic record. It brings in country, but it also has rock elements to it. And the first song, Honky Tonk Heroes. Oh, and also he brought in Tom Paul Glaser to produce this record. Before this, Chet Atkins produced all of his records. And this definitely has a different sound than any of his others. And this album has been referred to as the touchstone of outlaw country.
Interesting. I
And
have that
yeah,
record. I didn't know that whole story though.
Yeah, it's really good, man.
You know, the newest Kinky Friedman album I mentioned that came out posthumously. He has a song, the opening song is dedicated, and he mentions Billy Joe Schaefer in the song, and it's kind of dedicated to him, that album.
I guess Waylon Jennings, he was in Texas, and I don't know, he was in a trailer or something. It wasn't like a show, but he heard Billy Joe Shaver playing a acoustic guitar, and he was doing the song "Willie the Wandering Gypsy and Me," and it was a song about his friend Willie Nelson. And Waylon Jennings approached him and go, "Hey man, that's a really good song. Do you have any others?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he played a couple more, and he goes, "You know what? You need to come to Nashville, and I'm going to do an album of all your songs." But I don't know if Waylon was drunk or what, but he kind of avoided this guy because the guy went to Nashville and he couldn't track down Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings was kind of avoiding him, but finally they tracked down each other, and it wasn't all smooth sailing. I think they even got into a fist fight over the song "Honky Tonk Heroes," because the beginning of that song is kind of slower and acoustic, and they recorded that part. And when they were done, Billy Joe Shaver came up to him and goes, "Hey, what are you doing, man? You're messing up my song. That's not the way it goes." And Waylon goes, "Just wait, we're not done with it." And it, I think about like a minute and 20 seconds, it really kicks into a more of a rocker song. And then afterwards, he told him, "Yeah, you know what? You nailed it." But
I
yeah,
gotta
this is
pull
a
that. I haven't listened to that album in probably 10 years, and I own it, so I need to pull it out. I'll listen to it.
yeah, it's
So
really
we
good.
should tell the audience. I mean, most people probably know, but there's new people watching it might not know about Waylon Jennings. He was in the later version of the Crickets with Buddy Holly, and
Yes.
he was going to be on that fateful flight,
Yeah.
and he gave a seat to the Big Bopper, and he
Yeah.
stayed off the plane. And of course, you know how the night
The
of
music died.
yeah, the music died. So uh, Big Bopper took his place in heaven, in country heaven,
Yeah.
rock heaven. Okay, the greatest country record of all
Can I
time.
just say one
Oh,
thing?
yeah.
I hope you don't show this damn piece of turd.
I was thinking about it. No, it's a great record. I'm sorry, you're wrong. You're wrong about that.
It's mediocre
It's
country.
great. You just don't like. Do you like the Louvin brothers? If you don't like the Louvin brothers, and
I've only heard that one
I
album, the
love
Satan
gospel
one.
country stuff. I love that. You know, spiritual country. I love. Even though
The
I'm not a believer. I love the music. Now,
Dust on Mother's Bible by Buck Owens. That's a gospel album, and
album. I
it's
love that
great.
album. It's
Yeah.
great. It's totally. I love gospel music. I love country gospel. I love spiritual, soulful. Not yeah. Mahalia Jackson, all that stuff. So, I want to tell you one thing before I show it. Basically, you just showed the best country record of all time. You're wrong. Okay. It's a good album. It's a great album. But the best country album was recorded in one day over an 8 hour session, basically the same like the first Beatle album was recorded in one day, right? Okay. So, but this was recorded 4 years before that first Beatle album, 1959. And we talked about country and country. There's like outlaw country, there's country and western, there's cowboy, there's all kinds of country music. And to me, the best, and I got into this band and two of the songs on this album because of the Grateful Dead, who covered two of the songs from this album. And that is Gunfire Ballads and Trail Songs by Marty Robbins.
That's a good album.
You know, El Paso and Big Iron, they opened up side one and side two, were covered by the Grateful Dead. And it was Bob Weir sang, and I kept one of the songs is on the double Skull and Roses album. And I really got into it, and I went and I found and I got this. This also has a great cover of a song written in the 1930s, which is one of my all-time favorite cowboy songs called Cool Water by the Sons of the Pioneer. Remember that?
Yeah.
What a beautiful, beautiful song. So every track on here, it's got the greatest acoustic guitar bits. And you know, I totally forgot the name of that guitarist, which is really bullshit because when I talk about a record like this, I should talk about that guitar playing. The guitar playing on this is
Is almost as good as the guitar
is
playing on
better,
this.
is
No,
better.
it's not.
If you're not, if this crossed over to the pop charts too. But it was so good in 1959, so fucking good in 1959, he put out a sequel.
Yeah.
So come on. I mean, when an artist puts out a sequel to a hit album,
He's a serial killer.
exactly. No, the third out. There was a third one also, actually, I think. I have it downstairs, but more gunfighting, probably,
I've never seen that one.
Ride, Cowboy, Ride. Oh, Streets of Laredo. You know that song.
That's a great
That's a
song.
great song. That's
Yeah.
on here. You know, a lot of these songs,
See,
Prairie.
that crossed over too.
Yeah. I mean, the Sons, if you don't have a Sons of the Pioneer, Sons of the Pioneer would have been a good choice too. It's a cowboy album. Now, there is a difference in cowboy music. I love cowboy music, and there is a box set that came out during the CD era Rhino put out. It's either three or four CDs, and it's cowboy songs, and it has like one disc is the Hollywood Cowboys, like Gene Autry.
Yippee and
Yeah, Gene Autry and Roy Rogers and Dale Evans, and one is themes from movies like The Big Valley and TV shows, Big Valley, Bonanza, uh, How the West Won, all that kind of. It's a great cowboy record. It's got Sons of the Pioneer, all that kind of stuff. It's got Marty Robbins, all that. So this is the best country record ever made in the history of the world.
second best, but yeah, it's a good one. Um, did when you were a kid, did you ever go to the Ponderosa at Lake Tahoe?
No,
Oh, okay.
I went to Knott's Berry Farm.
Okay. In LA or Buena Park.
Yeah, is that what was it, Buena Park? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
We would go down to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, and drive down to San Diego. My parents never flew. They don't fly.
Yeah.
So
We
we just
never flew. We
no.
always drove.
Yeah, we drove to LA and we went to San Diego, SeaWorld, and the zoo, and then we went to amusement parks. So
Uh, Petaluma, that's just north of Frisco, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's on Highway 101, like
Yeah.
depending on traffic, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. We used to drive up there because my mom's twin sister, her husband was stationed there for a little while. I spent quite a couple of summers there.
It's beautiful up there. It's gotten like
Yeah.
everything else expensive, but it's beautiful. And it's just so close to just go up to the wine country in that whole area. Sebastopol and Napa and Sonoma and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
I don't do that yuppie stuff.
But when I was going there, it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before it was, I mean, there was wine there, but it wasn't like the big wine.
Yeah. It wasn't trendy. Yeah.
No, what Napa was known for is their uh, nut job ward. It was like a nut job crazy loony bin. I hate to say it like that, but
Yeah, that's where the Cramps did a free
alive.
concert there. Yeah,
Exactly.
in 1978.
Yeah, in the 70s, it wasn't late 70s, obviously into the 80s, it exploded into like a world-class wine. I mean, there was always wine there.
Yeah, but yeah, it's down now world class. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with hotels and everything's expensive and all that, yeah, like everything else. So, God, that was good. So we got to think of what genre next. Do we do the best soul
Polka.
record, best polka record?
We
I have a
can
band
do
that you would.
soul.
There was a band in the Bay Area. They get together every few years, or they used to have reunions called Polka Side, and they were like a punk polka band. I have their record. That would be it, but no, not polka. We should do R&B soul. I can't do
Reggae.
jazz. I can't do. Yeah, I don't know if you and I are qualified for reggae.
I'm qualified.
Okay, I can. Well, I'll match
I
that.
mean, if even if it's a Bob Marley, it's fine. He's probably the greatest.
What if it's a comp?
That's fine.
Okay, well, we may do that, but
I
we
mean,
have to. But
it's interesting you say that because the actual greatest country record is a comp, and it's Buck Owens' Greatest Hits Volume 2. It is just
wait a
packed
second.
with
Wait a
hits.
second. You're lying. This is the best country album of all time.
No, it's the second, maybe third.
Yeah.
I did the math over the
What?
weekend.
How can you do math with best? How does
I,
that?
I,
How do you
I
calculate it? Did
well,
you
it,
say
it,
okay?
it
Hold on. Hey Siri, what's the best country music of all time?
Do you want me to use ChatGPT to answer that?
Okay, let's see what they say.
Some of the best country music of all time includes classics like I Walk the Line by Johnny Cash, Jolene by Dolly Parton, Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks, The Gambler by Kenny Rogers, Take Me Home, Country
Get out of here.
by John Denver, Crazy by Patsy Cline, Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, Amarillo by Morning by George Strait, Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton, Coal Miner's Daughter by Loretta Lynn. These songs have left a lasting impact on country music and are beloved across
Yeah.
generations.
The problem with that list?
Not one fucking Marty Robbins song.
No, you know what's wrong with that list? It was all music from, what do they call it? Bakersfield East. There was nothing from Bakersfield on that list. Get out of here, man. Bakersfield produced the best country
I
music.
don't disagree with you, except for this one. You know,
Yeah.
um,
And
This-
Johnny Cash, he was pretty good.
Johnny
And Willie
Cash-
Nelson.
Johnny Cash was great. You know, isn't it great? Isn't it kind of, I just say touching. That's like kind of a wanker word, but it's touching that it took Rick Rubin to kind of bring him back. Record companies, they throw away the old shit they don't like. Don't the artists do what they do? Like after Columbia, went to Mercury for a while and he made a ton of records on Columbia, a lot of bad records and overplayed
Yeah.
records. There was one song I have, which we used to play in the 70s in the store because it was so great. It's so great because it was over the top bad. It's Johnny Cash, and the song is called "Give Me Them Beans." Give me them beans. And on the cover, he's holding a kid with all these like green beans or a pile of green beans around him. So, all right, I guess that's it.
Yeah, we'll go out on the green beans.
Oh God, so put your second, third, and fourth comments of records in there because you can't do the best because we already showed the best country. We showed the two best country records of all time.
Yeah, we did.
Well, that's it, I guess. Thank you. Mazzy loves you.